I had been, and he changed his life for me. He even got a job delivering the LA Times. Not the sexiest job, but he did it in his prime. He did that for me.
Wait. I wasn't judging him.
It sound like you were.
Well, I wasn't.
No, it's not what I heard.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Little Black Book. You already know what time it is, baby. Are you mad? You lean? Listen, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the uploads, baby. And for those of you who are returnees, mineral gang. Listen, you ain't got the minerals. You ain't got the minerals. Yeah. Listen, ahoy, gay. Hey, if you can't handle the heat in the kitchen, get out, baby. We're going to talk to you guys about Cherish today. Yeah, I just started watching it and I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to start reviewing this show as well. So I'm a little bit behind, I'm 4 episodes behind, but we're going to try and catch up as quickly as possible. Okay, so... Alright, cool. So, I found it very, very interesting. I've obviously watched the two main characters, Gently James and Evans as well. I think obviously they've kind of... We see them cross intersection at the library where she's trying to pay for something. Basically trying to get Miss Lumina, who's obviously a woman who she looks after in her job, help her, get away with paying a £200 plus or $200 fine for being late by a year on the library books. And obviously she's holding up the queue, and Evans obviously has left his niece. He's with his niece and coming to the library, and obviously he's waiting in the queue, and he can see that it's taking a bit of a long time. So he comes over, has a discussion, they start talking, eyes are being exchanged. He offers to pay, but Gently James says obviously this is more about principle and getting the woman to be able to, getting the librarian to wipe off the debt. And this was where we first kind of encounter their relationship. And actually this beginning is how they're going to kind of feed into what they end. And I want to start this very. When you start a relationship with somebody, the very beginning is very important, because early characteristics that you see are probably going to intensify further on down the line. Now, she's a very, I said this always, I said it when I first watched it, she's a very principled woman, right? Because for her to continue down the lane of wanting the librarian to literally wipe off the debt rather than letting Evans come and pay says quite a lot. And there may be many things running through her head at the time of why she decided not to let him pay. Maybe that, she felt like, as a strong individual black woman, she doesn't need a man's help. It could have been the fact that it's all about controlling, about power. If he pays, then, she may feel like she's giving away a bit of power to him, and she wanted to complete this without doing so, etc, etc. But there's clear attraction between the two because they exchange some looks, right? Not only that, they end on a note where he then, when she finally gets the bill wiped off, he starts smiling, gives a little wink, and etc, etc. Now, he doesn't get any of her details, but there's clearly some attraction between them. Guys, if you find someone like this and you find them attractive, get their number on time. Don't wait. Fate may not have it. Some people's names are not the names. The names that you hear in the library ain't the names you're going to see on Insta and on all them things there. They might be on Facebook though. But they're going to be on Insta, because most people change their name for Insta. It's different, cuz. Yeah? I don't even know if you type in Kojo without come up, because mine's Little Black Book. So, if it sees the day and sees the moment, you understand? So that happens, and then we're kind of like thrust later on into her, Gently James anyway, having a conversation with Miss Lumina, talking about, number one, the ex-boyfriends, and the fact that obviously some of the past boyfriends, her types or whatever, are usually kind of big and dumb. And she said, and obviously Gently James said, there's nothing wrong with that, but what the grandma's kind of alluding to is that, listen, some of the guys you're picking, listen, they are big, sexy, hunky, this, that, but they are unable to capture your attention. This is the most important thing. They're unable to capture your attention for a little while. Your span attention for these men is very, very low. And the reason why is because they're unstimulating of a part of you. Yeah? They're unable to touch part of who you are. And so therefore your attention for them is very, very low.
Your problem, Auntie. That's truly your problem. You have an attention deficit syndrome towards men. I mean, not one of them can hold your attention.
We obviously see her, Jenny James, come in to talk to the grandma about, you know, how she managed to get the debt wiped off. And she says obviously there was a nice gentleman that was going to offer to pay, but she didn't allow him to. And the grandma says, why didn't you let him pay? He's a, you know, nice gentleman, etc., etc. Why didn't you let him pay?
Is there a menu?
You want me to order for you?
Please.
One cookies and cream.
And they go inside the store. Okay. Then there's the first one that obviously another thing that's noticed is that there's no menu. So again, it's like there's two things that are happening here. One, it shows again maybe potentially, you know, black-owned businesses where we sometimes, you know, in the hood, it's make as you do. Like we know, like when you come into that shop that you know that's in your area, you know what you're coming to get. You know what to get from there. You don't even need a menu, and you don't care if there was a menu or not because you know what you're getting. You understand? You know this business inside out because it's your home turf. They come and they end up. He's obviously asking about chairs and sitting down. Now, let me be very honest with you. Me too, I'll be asking where chairs are and sitting down. Like, do you expect to eat in my Tesla? Because it's not going to happen, Brad. But they end up sitting on the end of the curb, which I think is really cute. I like that kind of thing. I'm a person that's like low maintenance. I'm not really a crazy person. So if you had to sit on the curb and eat, I'll sit on the curb and eat. I got no problem with that. I think it's quite nice. I think it takes it back to the original where we just have conversation, where we just talk, we get on and we just kind of see where we're at. I like that. Strip it all the way back. They're now sitting down on the curb. He's eating a piece of his cake, she's eating a piece of her cake, and now there's a choice between Oreo and strawberry. Now this is very key because she picks up something which is so important when it comes to relationships that people do, they do unconsciously, but if they can start to do consciously, they will start to make better choices in who they choose as a partner. She said that she made him choose between the two, which one he wanted to have, strawberry or Oreo, which then he also replied, because he works in analytics and technological phase, he then replied in a very technical manner by analysing the situation, saying, if I chose strawberry, you might think I'm a bit of a fruitcake. If I chose Oreo, you might think I'm too soft. And then he then gave the positive, if I choose the strawberry cheesecake, I'm a bit sweet, and da-da-da. If I choose an Oreo, you might think I'm high in melanin or chocolate, whatever. So that was an analytical point of view. The point that was being made is that in relationships, or gaining into relationships, information is king. A lack of knowledge, my people perish. A lack of knowledge, people get into relationships that they shouldn't get into. Because if you do not find out, you know, an example in the Bible is Jacob in the Bible, right? He wanted the daughter, the younger one, Rachel. When he was coming to marry Rachel, unfortunately, the father-in-law gave Leah, the oldest daughter, to come in the middle of the night time to come and sleep with Jacob. And he ended up sleeping with her and had to marry her because when you slept with the person, you married. And then he was like, what's happened? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? Because it happened at night time. It didn't happen in the daytime, because if it happened in the daytime, he'll be able to see Leah. Right? He would be able to see and they know this is not the sister. I want the other one. But he did it at night time because his vision was impaired, and because then at that moment, yeah, he was blinded. Why? Lack of information, because information is light. It brings a clarity to information, to things. So when she's talking about having a choice between strawberry and Oreo, it's not really not a choice between strawberry and Oreo. What it really is information building. Taking in information consciously, processing it, and then being able to make something of it, because the information has no, or we should say data, becoming information when we attach some kind of meaning to it, in a sense. And then it becomes knowledge to us, right? And so in relationships, you have to gather the data from different choices that people are making and different things that are coming towards you from the other person, and make that into a purposely conscious choice. What happens is people turn off.
Life is information. I'm information gathering.
They just start going with the emotions rather than seeing some of the choices that are being made, and then they get confused. Why is he behaving like this, like that, like that? They are behaving like that because you missed the part where you were meant to gather data and be conscious with it and turn it into information, making it knowledge for you then to turn it into understanding and then utilize it back into play to make it wisdom. And so oftentimes what happens is people skip a lot of that. They're taking the data not consciously, and then what happens is they then use emotion as a cover-up as making logical choice. Alright? So it was more than just the cheesecake and the Oreo in the choice. It was deeper than that. Do you get me? Now, she made a comment which really was throwing me all off, which was, if you had chose the Oreo, it should have been gone. And I was like, what? I didn't get it. I would be gone, kind of thing. And I was like, what? Like, I said, did I miss something? Did I do? And obviously that was put in there to kind of put as a, you know, as a to remind us later on what happened. So,
To a restaurant with tables and chairs.
Well, I guess we wouldn't be sitting here happy.
As in, you be upset.
No, as in I'd be gone.
was car, which is a bit more run down, but it runs, and they drive a very long way to Corona, or whatever it's Coron, or Baron or Curran. Hey, but Carson, sorry, they go to Carson. They go to Carson, and then as they do, they get there and the place is shut. Right, and then they end up having a conversation after they've got a bit of food, nachos and some dips. They're sitting in the back of the car and they're talking. Now here's where the things start to go downhill. Oftentimes we think that because maybe when we are the less privileged, we've got a chip on our own shoulder against people who are more privileged than us, right? Who are financially better off than us. And sometimes we think their life is so much easier. We think they've got no problems. We think, oh, they've had it easy all their life. They've been spoon-fed. But regardless of whether that, life hits us all. Trouble hits us all. Problem hits us all. The Bible says that it rains on the good and the bad, the wicked and the righteous, the rich and the poor. It hits all of us. Life hits all of us. Problem is when you think because you're poor that no one else understands your plight of life. Cool. They're in the back of the car having a nachos and a cheese, baby. And then there's obviously conversation coming about their past. And then she asks about his first kiss, and he reluctantly doesn't want to answer it. So she answers first, and then he answers his. I don't know why he was reluctant about it. He said I think it was a bit boring or whatever, but that was might have to look at that. Maybe that'll come up later on in the series.
Me in and did the best he could.
Wow. He sounds amazing. What was your mom?
What's with all the questions?
And then obviously, they talk about schooling and the fact that she said she missed schooling, and he was like, oh, where was your parents? Now, it's a logical question. Yeah, where were your parents? How are you missing all three days in a week of school? How are you missing that, bruv? Surely someone should have been checking up on you, finding out where I'm going. So I'm asking a valid question. Where was your parents? It wasn't one that was contrived. It wasn't one that was trying to set you up. It wasn't one that was coming from a place of privilege. It was literally to ask about it. And she became defensive in that moment. Because whatever she thought he was trying to come at, she already had a preconceived idea of him. That's why the fact that she heard the question the way she heard it, she turned it into, you're judging me. And he has to say, no, I wasn't judging you. I was just literally asking a question about where your parents were. And then obviously then he asks another question where was your mum then? Because she said obviously her dad had passed, and where's her mum then? And that's when she explains about her uncle Ben or whatever his name is or whatever, did his best to look after her. And then she shuts down the conversation. So we can see instantly already, like, this is going to be a problem. Like, if he wants to make this work, he's going to have to go past this blockade, this high wall, this pride that she has. A lack of vulnerability, of self-protection and self-defense, that he's going to have to breach past that. Because my girl quickly, even projected her thoughts and feelings onto him, as if that's how he was feeling. He wasn't feeling that way. He wasn't asking the question that way. And so that's our first instance of a little bit of a some friction that we get given. And she does obviously get in the car, and they get in the car. All right, cool. Then they proceed to then go to actually collect this fridge. They get there, it's open now. They're looking at the fridge, and he helps her measure the fridge, and the fridge is just slightly too large, right? And then he sensibly asks, are you sure, we can't squeeze it in somewhere, move it, anything like that? No.
Too wide.
Can we even try to fit it in? Maybe we can change something in the kitchen, or?
No.
Are you sure?
I am. It's her house. It's a wall. It can't be changed, so it's not gonna work. Thank you.
You sure you can't? No. The shutdowns there, again, kind of just allude to the fact that, she's always been a place. I think she said it in the shop, in the library, where she says she gets her way, and she's been a free spirit because she went around to Europe and everything. She's been a free spirit. And this is again a projection of her. The moment because later on they have an argument, but I'm just going to kind of come back to it. This argument where she said about, no, it won't fit, was really more about her and the fact that she doesn't like being told what to do or being controlled by someone, she feels like, right? So he then lets that go and then says, look, don't worry, look, we'll sort this out. Now he's in problem solving mode, yeah? He doesn't know that she doesn't want him to problem solve. We don't know that. He doesn't know that. You understand? He hasn't waited for her to ask. He said, listen, let's sort it out. I'll sort it out for you. I'll get this fridge for you. Let's help Miss Lumina. Remember, they were talking about Miss Lumina before. Remember, he knew who Miss Lumina was. He knows this fridge ain't for her, it's for Miss Lumina. So what's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem? And she's saying, obviously, Miss Lumina would want something that fits. Have you asked her? Because she might want a new fridge. Do you know what I'm saying? We don't know that for sure. Do you see what I'm saying? So she threw that all out there. And obviously he was saying that, you know what, we can get a new fridge. And I would say this though, the one way he made a mistake was that he said real appliance store, which indicated that this wasn't a real appliance store. Now I'm going to be very honest with you, yeah, that is a real appliance store, but it's back end.
Real appliance place, and we can pick out something with the measurements.
I can't do that.
Let's be very honest. That is like, fam, if I saw that, I'm gonna be like, nah, this is the ghetto. I'm sorry, this is the ghetto. And anybody who saw that knows that this is the ghetto. So when I'm saying real appliance store, you know what I mean. A real shop with reputable, you know, a reputable brand where, fam, if I take this thing, I get warranty. And if it breaks down, I potentially can take it back to them and say, listen, guys, you give me a faulty machine. This doesn't look like a place where I can give it back if it breaks down. Do you understand? But I understood where she may have felt a little way that he was trying to be pompous about it. You understand? But he wasn't asking in that way. But hey ho. Then they have this conversation about, she actually attacks him in a sense by saying, that's your solution to everything, throwing money at everything else, da 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 da. Hold on a minute. My man has never said that money's a solution to anything. Like, when you went to the Philly store, did he complain about where you guys were eating? Did he complain when you took the guy with the trash cans in his car? How have you become so pompous and become so self-absorbed in your own world and your own lack of to blame someone else for their plentiful, that you're now using your insecurities, projecting it onto them, and accusing them of not only that, not everybody can work a job they don't like, and da-da-da. But listen, I'm sorry, there's not many of us who like our jobs, blood. So he ain't the only one. There's many of us, whether you're rich or poor. There's a lot of people that don't like their jobs, blood. Do you understand? So making it about Miss Lumina, well, making it about the fact that this, I do what makes pleasure for me. It's like, yo, but gee, you got to pay the bills somehow, some way. Not only that, you know, for you to attack Evans because, you know, he's doing a job that he doesn't like, but he said already that it's an ends to a means because he wants to start his own business. What's the
Job she didn't love just because. She lived a life of passion and pleasure filled with real people and real things, and I feel like that's something you can't really understand. Let's just go.
What you do that you...
beef? Why are you using what he said against him? And that shows to me somebody who's got a darkness in them, fam. Do you understand? That they're not a nice person, bro. Do you know what I mean? As much as they defended themselves and they feel insecure, they're a dangerous person because they use words to cut you. They use your own words to fight you. You use your own words to bury you. You understand? She said quite a few things there, and he responded eventually by saying own selves and self-absorbed to attack rich people for being rich or being well off when we're not well off ourselves, to make ourselves feel better. And that insecurity that she had, it must be addressed, and it must be addressed if she's going to have any chance to rectify this with him, because she should come and apologize. You know, he might end up apologizing for being, you know, pompous, but I don't think he has been. He's just been living his truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't help it I've got a Tesla. I can't help it that I have a well-paid job. I can't help that I want to start my own business. I can't help those things. Do you understand? And if I want to help you, and then you, just want to help and bring you a helping hand, and you're going to insult me for it, more for you. Do you understand? Maybe she felt like she didn't want a handout. That's fine. Just tell me, look, listen, I don't want a handout. You know, be polite about it. But there's also pride in not accepting something. It's what someone told me. Someone taught me this when I first came to Christ. Someone said, there's also pride in not accepting help and not accepting finances. Someone offers to do something and you don't want them to do it. Oh no, I'll do it. It's also pride, because it's also an independent spirit. You want to be independent and not anyone help you. It's also pride. So, you know, just kind of seeing that, it's like, yo, it's gonna be, I don't know how they're gonna get back together again. But the fact that she had to make him, the fact that she made him get an Uber or whatever, a taxi back to ends, and didn't drive him. That's mad. I'm so sorry. That's mad. She should have done it. She just, look, let her anger subside, driven him back to ends, let him get in his car. If it was the other way around, it would have been so mad. Do you know what I'm saying? It would have been so mad. But yeah, guys, if you like our review, make sure you click down below. You know what I'm saying? Click down below. Let us know your thoughts and your feelings about what happened. Comment down below about how you felt about the relationship between these two. And let us know. I appreciate you. Little black book, you know what time it is. But